what is a molar mass of calcium phosphate? So molar mass of calcium phosphate. So this one's a little bit tricky here, because you kind of have to know, I mean, most of you hopefully should know what calcium is, but for this one you also have to know what phosphate. I'm gonna actually underline the red because that one is just straight from memory, or at least that's how I familiarize myself with them. But yes, so let's move on to at least the things that we do know. So calcium, let's go all the way here. As you can see, it's an element that we can just write down. Alright, and how many electrons would it like to lose? Well, we can figure out two ways. One by its row number, column number, which is 2 in this case, and the other way actually by its electron configuration. That one I do like to use sometimes just to be able to review electron configuration, so it's good to get really familiar with it. So considering it's on the 4th row, you're going to start first with the 3rd row noble gas, so that's argon, okay, and then you have 4s2. Once again, emphasizing that it does want to just get rid of that to become a quote-unquote noble gas. So typically calcium will be Ca2+ as an ion, which is what you want to make up for this calcium phosphate, which is an ionic compound because it has a metal and a non-metal. So with that being said, what's phosphate? This one is a little bit tricky. Phosphate, because it ends with the ATE, okay, is a phosphorus, yes, and a certain amount of oxygens, okay. So that'd be phosphorus P and a certain amount of oxygens O. Alright, and as I said, these are the things that you kind of have to memorize, because I know that phosphate comes like that, PO4. That is phosphate. And with that, you also kind of have to memorize the charge, because it's not so clear when you just look at the element, at the molecule, because oxygen typically likes to have a -2 charge. We're just talking about the net charge here. So if we did this -8, phosphorus, oh wow, I guess it does make sense because phosphorus is the 5th element. So maybe it likes to do the +5, okay, because that makes sense because PO4 is actually 3-. So I guess there are ways to figure it out like that, but I can say right now that that may not be the best way to go about it, but it might be a start. I'm gonna star that because I might use that for later examples as well. So with that being said, we have PO4 3- and Ca2+. Okay, so what do we do with this? We want to make sure we balance out to where they have a net charge of 0. Okay, so that means we need to find the lowest common multiple between 2 and 3, and that would be 6. So for this, we would actually need to multiply this by 3 and multiply this by 2. So in total for calcium phosphate is Ca3PO4 2. Now we've done all that work now, but we haven't actually figured out the molar mass. Give me a second. Let me just actually put this in my calculator and see what I get. I'm just working ahead, but just as we did for the earlier question, actually, what we want to do here is that now we want to break it down into its pieces, kind of like the O2, but there's obviously a lot more components. So 3 times Ca, okay. Now with this 2 here, you want to make sure you multiply both by 2. So we have 2 for the phosphorus and 8 for the oxygen, okay. So 3, 2, and 8. And now calcium, okay, is 40.078. Phosphorus is 30.974, and oxygen all the way over here is 15.999. So now we have to really multiply those all together and then add them after. So 40.0078 times 3, 120.234, and then 30.974 times 2, okay, is, let's see here, 61.948. And now for the last one, 8 times 15.999. Alright, we have 127.992. Okay, so with that all being said, we add them all together. So now we have that plus the 61 plus the 120. Our total is 310.174. That's not a good one. There we go. Alright, so that means that our molar mass in total is 310.174 grams per mole for calcium phosphate. So that's a really big molecule compared to the other ones we deal with. So exactly, let's see what they did here, and they do get around that number. You can see that the phosphorus value and the oxygen value and even the calcium value were slightly different, but exactly they should have gotten, which they did, answer that's close to mine. So 310.18. So with that, just a quick review. We first broke down what it meant to be calcium phosphate, okay, and then we found the molecular mass from there. Okay.